Good morning. Let's call the meeting to order, please. Today is Tuesday, September 28th. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, in Mexico Beach, we don't like change much, so I'm a little bit confused about where we're sitting, who I'm looking at.
I knew that was coming.
But we have a new administrator, so, you know, we overlook some things. We're good. I bet it looks better, though.
On the Facebook, it looks great.
All right. Tammy, call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Here.
Mr. Pollock,
Here.
Ms. Call,
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
All right. Moving to our agenda, we have a one set of minutes for the consent agenda. If there is no corrections or additions, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any objections? Let the record reflect. Motion passes 4-0. All right. Citizens' comments. Just post it. Look here. Oh, move it up. You have a podium?
Mayor, I'm hoping when they come up, they'll say their name and their address. And
That's right. That's what we have to have that for the record. So, first one, are there citizens' comments? Okay. No citizens' comments. Moving on. Number 6 is financial. I understand we do not have, Debbie was unavailable today, so we have no financial, but we had our budget hearing and everyone knows our budget is passed and we're ready to start October 1st, ready to go. Sandy?
Has he put so much time in
Yeah,
that?
oh yeah, we're gonna have it, we're gonna use it.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Council. The only real update is I put together the letter that we did last week or last year in the October water bill in regards to the smoke detectors and the fuse boxes in people's houses. We're going to do it again this year. So anybody that does need help reaching their high up smoke detectors and changing batteries and everything else, let us know, and we'll come and do that. But that piece of paper with contact details will be in everybody's utility bill that's going out this month, or sorry, next month, I should say. Other than that, it's we're basically now as the season, summer season's come to a close. We're redoing our engines, redoing all the equipment, doing a complete service from top to bottom and absolutely everything, so that we find anything that might be wrong before it goes wrong, and that's what's keeping us busy at the moment. Other than that, I have no other updates unless anybody has any questions. Or
Questions for fire? Thank you, Sandy. Sheriff's report?
I guess Martin took care of it last week, but you know, I'm here to follow up. I just got
You got a tough act to follow.
just got back from Louisiana, so I'm getting reacclimated to life in the fast lane over here. Nothing major to report, no major crimes, no major issues.
I want to say to you and to the Sheriff's Department, we appreciate y'all representing Mexico Beach over there in Louisiana. That was, needless to say, no matter where the storm hits from now on, we'll all have an understanding of what people go through. So I appreciate you being a representative or in your group from over here.
Yeah, we had 12 guys that went and everything, and the sheriff says that it's time to start paying back for everything that we got here at Michael. So
That's right.
we're going to be on point whenever it needs to be done.
Good job. Thank you very much. Okay. Bill report?
Building department.
You're up.
Still pretty slow. 2 new residents this since the last meeting, but we have had some new remodels come in. Some that have been sitting for almost 3 years now. So I guess must be insurance coming in or something, so. I think we've got 7 new applications this month for remodels.
Wow. We were taking.
If I could add to that, Mr. Mayor, we're working with the provider to have a possibility of a building official that we would share with the City of Port St. Joe that could be here part-time in the mornings to kind of help us with some of our review. It'll help us with some having some of our inspections in the morning as opposed to just in the afternoon with Willie. We're working on having inspections throughout the day that'll help some of the contractors as well as the residents move forward in their projects quicker. And to have that building official will also help us with some code and possibly some unsafe structures to help avoid some of that kind of stuff. So it'd be nice to have that expertise around as well.
So, thank you.
News to me.
No, okay, I don't know about that. Say that again?
So the contractor is working on, there would be no additional cost to the city to have a building official that could be here to add some expertise. We work on days when she's not available. The permits have kind of slowed back a little bit, and they're adjusting some of the schedules, so we're working on some additional help with that information, as well as inspections. He assured me that he had inspections that could happen during the daytime as opposed to only after lunch, and I was working on that for us.
Okay, okay, we'll move on. Public Works. Excuse me, Kathy, Cody, I'm sorry. I didn't read.
So far, what I've been working on is we're getting, I have a list of violations where people have been calling in and emailing, they want lots cleared that are next to their houses. So I'm working on that. I'm going to be showing Doug some we're going to go over our violation list and our letters that we send out and make some changes to that. And just gathering up some information on a few pieces of property to send to the special master. Other than that, that's it.
61 First Street, is that on the list?
Yes, sir. Top of my list.
Question?
In addition to that, we have Bay County Code Enforcement coming out to meet with Kathy and myself tomorrow, kind of go over some options that they have. They have some training classes and some local certification in the community for Bay County that we can get involved with. So she would have somebody to bounce some information off of if maybe she's never dealt with it before. She could have a phone friend type of thing. So we're working on that as well.
Good. Questions? Okay, thank you, Kathy. Tommy?
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Give you an update on the road paving. They completed Miramar Drive, Circle Drive, 42nd and 41st Street are completely done. They're working on the rest of both side streets as we speak. FDOT is about halfway through with our sidewalks. They are really getting on that. They should be finished up probably within a week. We'll have all our sidewalks completely redone. The ones that we didn't do from the FEMA money. Update on the street signs, we're over 50% of them are up, which is a good thing. So we should have that done in probably a couple more weeks. We should have all the street signs replaced, and which is a good thing. We're going to be putting some mulch. You remember a while back we had mulch on 15th Street for the citizens if they wanted to go get it. We're going to do that again. We're going to actually put it down at Parker Park. Have a pile down there, so if anybody would like to go out and get some free mulch to use around their yard, we're going to keep that down there. It's free to us since we got it. We're going to go ahead and put it out where we can use it. Sanitation report, so far this month we picked up 124,920 pounds of garbage. Kind of in the off season, going into the off season now, so that's probably going to drop a little bit since vacation people kind of start to slack off. But other than that, we're started working on the ditches on 15th Street. Finally dried up enough we can get in there and weed eat those down and cut them. So we're going to be doing a lot of maintenance work in the next couple of weeks, kind of get everything caught back up from all the rain we've had. Other than that, we're just doing our normal city routine.
Hey, Tommy, all the extra sand that's really high on the 98,
is the state gonna do?
Yes, they are, Mr. Darrell. They're gonna come in and cut all that down, even with the sidewalks, which is gonna help us, because right now, a lot of that's encroaching on the sidewalks, and we're
Sure.
continuously going through having to clean that off. But they are, once the sidewalks are finished, they're gonna come in and cut all those high places down.
Are they gonna grass that back in the front like that?
I will talk with Martin Burke, he's the FDOT guy at FEMA, that's doing all this for us, and I'll see if we can't get them maybe to come in and do some seeding.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Questions? Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Doug, you want to introduce our new utility guy?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So what I got here, we were kind of short on our operators and supervision within the utility department. Kevin had left just prior to my arrival. I met with Mr. Glenn Davis. He's retired from the city of Port St. Joe as the chief operator and the manager for the department over there. And he was kind enough to kind of help us on a temporary basis while we're searching for a utilities director. And he's here today. You can come up and introduce yourself, and if you don't mind, sir.
I'm Glenn Davis. I live in Overstreet. I retired from the city of Port St. Joe in 2011. I kept my license current. Total marriage is something in your blood. It's all I've done for and Westward. You got a good staff. Enjoy it so far working with you. Plan on continuing. Do you have any questions?
Just as one update, we had a major 14-inch line break out on the west end of town yesterday, and with Glenn's oversight and Garrett, the two of them were able to get that, and their team, of course, to get that under control and finalized, and they worked with the EPA or DEP for the sewer spill, and they got all that done the same day, and we started that morning working with Bay County, kind of going through some stuff, and all of a sudden they found that leak, and they fixed it the same day, and I'm proud as I could be that they got it done.
Good. Is that another stress crack? Another, what I call a stress crack?
Yes, sir, it is. It seems like an ongoing issue. That if we don't get it fixed, it's going to continue.
Continue on.
Yes. You thought it was the fourth time this year that you
Yes, sir, fourth time. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had. I'm good. Well, Glenn, welcome aboard. Thank you
so much.
Him and Garrett are doing a fine job. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Garrett's always got a smile. He's happy to be here.
Makes us look good, doesn't it? Additionally, they were able to remove some of the pumps this past week that we've been paying $2,800 a month for.
Yeah.
They're working that down to get rid of those each week, so that's going to be a big help for us to save money.
Gotcha. David? There you go.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Sunset Park, unfortunately, we're still waiting for the DEP to issue that permit so work can begin. But we know weekly trying to figure out when we'll be able to do it. They keep telling us they just issue the permits in the order in which the applications were received. So, but they do have to the end of the month further guidelines. So we should be seeing something in the month. As far as the boat ramp expansion, we got approval from FWC on the design. The grant portal for the construction opens up in February of next year, so we'll probably end up holding it and bidding it closer toward the end of the year, so we'll have the cost of construction then available so we can put it for the grant money. And then the stormwater plants, I actually have them. I brought them with me, the FEMA stormwater repairs. Got the plans together. Dina has a copy of them she can review. I will give Doug a copy so you can put the copies in so you guys can look at them and review them. And then we can move on to bidding here within the next week or two.
What about the bid for Sunset Park?
Sunset Park's awarded. The contractors, we're just waiting for the permit. They're sitting on
That was last week.
Yes, sir.
Did we do that at the last meeting?
Tommy, they selected the...
Yeah, the bid was opened and selected mayor about probably three weeks ago. I believe Bonovich is the one that got that.
I slept through that. That's all right.
That's before me as well.
That's all right. So we're waiting on the permit. Will we expect to have the permit by the end of the month?
At least the end of it at the latest, yes.
The end of September.
Do you realize?
October.
Oh, the end of the month is in.
That's what I was.
Sorry.
That's what my question was.
I'm already in October.
So they have until the end of October. All right. Any questions for Dewberry? Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. All right, moving to our regular agenda item. Number one is due to a glitch in the advertising or notice of that, we're going to remove number one until our next meeting. Then we'll be ready for next meeting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Judith, please make a note of that.
Yes, sir.
All right. What about number two?
Same issue, Mayor.
Same issue. 1 and 2. We're removing those until our next meeting. Okay. Number 3 is a resolution for executing grant applications. Is there a motion or discussion, or anybody want to? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Make a motion to read resolution 2146 by title only.
Second.
Motion second. Nick, we don't have this in place? I mean, this has been, they've been doing this for years. I don't know why
they're asking, it's probably because it was a change of city administrator, but they were asking for something in writing showing that I had the authority. Basically, there was never anything for Mario in place, that he was just doing it.
Yeah, just in general, as far as signing various contracts and documents for the city, when you look at the charter and the code, there's not much discussion of the city administrator doing that. It kind of falls for the mayor, but at times it's simpler to have the city administrator do it.
I thought we had done that after the storm. We had made the administrator, but that's fine. All right, we have a motion second to read. Is there any opposition to read? Please do so.
Resolution 2146, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, authorizing the city administrator to execute grant applications and grant-related documents and providing an immediately effective date.
Is there a motion for adoption or approval?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2146.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Yes.
Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Ms. Call,
Yes.
Mr. Key.
Yes.
Okay, next is 2147. And this is a grant for under the Palms Park for the DEP. Excuse me, DEP for. Who administers this grant, David? You or Dewberry?
I believe they're working on.
The goal is for staff to manage this project for the size of it, so we can do that internal.
Okay.
We're working on a design build possibility. We're looking at that option.
Yeah, we probably won't be going through that option, but we can definitely expedite it through normal procedure.
My question is, before we get into reading it, the grant states that it's for landscaping, exercise facilities, and new picnic facilities. Is there some kind of layout of what we're putting there? What are we doing?
It was very generic, just the wording that they put into the grant application. That's what you just read. The city can do what they want with the funds as long as it's for that.
For that park, okay. It's like it used to be.
Yeah, we never.
I didn't know the way it was written. I didn't remember. We're getting tied into this is what we have to do.
But you have to buy that equipment, but you can put it wherever you want to in the park.
Does that include the surfacing of the walkway too?
No, that would be part of the FEMA repair.
Include that.
That's part of the FEMA repairs as well.
And we're trying to do just this. We're trying to move forward with some of these parks and things that have been kind of on hold. The residents deserve the amenities, so we're going to try to push forward with some of those.
All right, is there a motion to read resolution 20, or any more questions about the $50,000 grant for Palm Park? Under the palm? Is there a motion to read?
Make a motion to read resolution 21-47 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please read.
Resolution 2147, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a grant from the Department of Environmental Protection for the improvements to Under the Palms Park in the amount of $50,000.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I could, have a
Yes.
question, or just kind of look for some clarification. So, we did one resolution providing our city administrator authority to sign all the documents. The next resolution we put on the agenda primarily because we didn't have the first resolution adopted yet. But in the future, our intent, I believe, is that some of these approvals on grants won't come to you at all, as long as the city's not committed to spend money, that they'll just be applied for and accepted at staff level. Are you comfortable with that, or do you still want to approve some or all of these grants and just simply allow staff to sign?
I didn't know I thought we'd stopped doing that 2 years ago.
I just needed some direction there.
Well, I mean, it would have been, anyway. For me, if the commitment is for the grant and not the funding of having no matching funds or no kind of expenditures, then I think the administrator that should be part of his responsibility.
And sometimes the grant will have a match requirement, but there's no consequence if the city never bids out the project and moves forward in actually construction.
That's
So I don't see that as a problem. But if we run into a rare situation where accepting the grant means that the city has guaranteed they're going to spend money, we'll bring anything like that to you.
Again, as long as we do not commit the city to funds of any kind, and it's simply an application for the grant and move the grant forward, I thought we had been doing that. That's all I know to say. Is it clear now? Is everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, moving to number 5 is a resolution 2148.
We got a day to adopt this.
We didn't do it?
No,
What did I do, just skip it?
Yeah.
Just
Y'all before, weren't you?
Yeah, we just
Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Sorry.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve resolution 21-47.
Thank you for catching that. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion to second, call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Resolution 2148. This is the long-awaited dredging canal phase 2. It is roughly 21 months in the making. This is a task order to begin that process. Is there a discussion? Not?
I have staff available if you need it.
I see her there. Anything to add? Anything for the record that we need, Dina, that you would like to be in the record concerning this? I mean, the task order that I have read is exactly what we discussed with FEMA. They have adopted they've made the obligation. Leave it up to you. If you don't have anything, we'll move forward. Is there any questions about the task order? Is there a motion to read?
Make motion to read resolution 21-48 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Please read.
Resolution 2148, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a combined task order and notice to proceed with Crowder Gulf Joint Venture Incorporated to perform the specific task relating to Hurricane Michael Phase 2 dredging within the City of Mexico Beach, set forth in the agreement with a not to exceed of $6,487,393.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make motion to approve resolution 21-48.
Second.
Have a motion to second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
And with that, I can't pass up saying, Dina, thank you very much. Good job. All we're trying to do is put back what we had. It's just taken a while to convince those folks that it was actually in bad shape. We knew it was, so.
So Dina has also agreed to help us out. She'll be here in the office on Monday and Wednesday. There's no additional cost to the city. She's a local resident, so she's there for some history for me, as well as for you guys and the residents.
Very good. Okay, moving on. We didn't adopt it. There, help me out. Bob's dad do it all.
The fishing is not that good, so you couldn't
I
be thinking
know.
about fishing, so I'll start looking at it.
Is there a motion? I thought we approved that.
I make a motion to adopt.
We did. Okay.
We did adopt? I thought we just approved.
See, now you just get,
Yeah.
let's get a little,
Excuse me.
get a little proud of yourself or what? All right, moving on. All right, Mr. Administrator, this is, you're up.
All right, so I do have staff here, David, that can help us and Dina with that if we need. The 15th Street box culvert, the one side is completely finished and they're ready to move on. It had come to our attention that there's some issues should we get another storm surge or storm, and we're still in hurricane season. When they pulled out everything underneath of the culvert, the pipe was completely deteriorated everything underneath of it. There's a chance that it could collapse. They were on site, and the goal behind this is they're already there. We have excess funding through FEMA that we can use that doesn't cost the city any additional money to fix the wing walls on the other side, to fix the pipe, to fix the wall, the side walls, everything back just like the other side looks, so that we shouldn't have any future problems. It does save us quite a bit of time related to permits and things that he would have to continue to do because they're already on site. In addition, we do save about 20%, 25% because he is on site with all his equipment, and we can just do this as a change order and continue the process. David or Dina, did I miss anything that needed to be added?
No. So this south side, they weren't included in the FEMA claim. I don't know at the time when FEMA was out there, the weeds were grown up, couldn't see it, whatever. But yeah, the wing walls are laying on the ground. I don't know if they broke off or cut off at some point, but if you do get a significant surge back through the box culvert in the opposite direction, you're going to look at the same situation as you had on coming from the north, is it might undermine it and start washing out the banks. So it would be a good time if we're going to do it. If Susan's going to do it, to go ahead and make the repairs.
So I'm looking for your approval to move forward with that project before they haul their equipment off. It's ready to go. They're shutting the other side down. So
That's a smart move. I mean,
Yeah.
it's right.
It's the same unit price as the other side, so
And
I would pay for
And it's a FEMA project, right?
No.
it's going to be used excess funds from FEMA to pay for it.
What is all that piled up right there at the culvert? Be going boxes, whatever they are.
Those are guardrails for safety.
Okay.
Those big ones.
Yeah.
So there is another issue that's coming up that we're going to talk about, have an item on the next agenda, is the guardrail stuff on the top. And we can discuss that now if you want, but we were trying not to muddy the waters.
yeah. In general, that box culvert's 70 years old, put in the 50s, I believe, with the record show. So I mean, it's due for a facelift for sure. And there's no guarantee. I mean, the city may get by years without having an issue on that side, but you will have significant savings to go ahead and do the work now. Be proactive instead of reactive, I guess.
The contractor brought it all to my attention, as they were looking at it with him, and the engineers followed up, and it's the right time to do it.
Any other comments? My concern is not that we don't need to do it. My concern is that the funds that we're spending, as we move forward, we know that we're expecting to have some excess funds for, if grants came available that required matching funds, that we would have that capacity to do that. We talked about that on multiple meetings. We don't have, quote, a contingency, so I don't know, when you say it's excess funds, I caution you with that language. We don't have any excess funds. We have monies that aren't obligated yet, but we don't have excess funds. So, if this does not hurt us moving forward with some of the projects that we know that we're gonna need some money for, especially to help pay forward in order to get money back. You know, we're in this rob Peter, pay Paul mode, and we've done very well with that. I think this bid is for $160,000. I saw it right, $162,000.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not one, I don't know I think David explained it best it can be explained. We don't know when, but there could be a problem. Is this the time that, is now the time to do it? The potential savings versus the money that we're using, that we could use somewhere else. That's the bottom line.
I went over the dollar figures for the excess, well, the funds that we have out from FEMA that are available. And he thinks that there would not be an issue with going forward with using this money for there based on the amount of funds that are available for other stuff that we would use down there.
Okay. Well, if we've examined that, that's good.
We did.
All right, is there either discussion or we need a motion to make these? I guess we aren't going to use a resolution for this?
We don't have one included in the packet, but make a good, clear voice motion. We'll be okay.
Okay.
Maybe something not to exceed the bids in front of you.
Then the chair will entertain a motion.
Then I make a motion, we approve resolution 2148 and,
No.
I mean, excuse me, the, box culvert at 15th Street. And it was how much? 162,000, not to exceed.
162.5. 162.5.
Not to exceed 162.5. That's the motion.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay. You're still up?
Yes, sir. So the next item is discussion about the Sunstock gas station that is proposed out on the far end of town. We do have representatives from that company here as well to answer some questions and kind of go over their thought process. If I could allow the city attorney to kind of give a little back history in case some of the members have forgotten or didn't know about some of the things, the negotiations for getting in here.
Sure. I'll allow the Sunstock representative to get into the details. But the background is this is the gas station development on the west side of the city. It's one parcel outside of the city. We've had a couple of requests come to this council previously about providing utility service to that location, and the response consistently has been annex into the city if we want utility service. Since that last council meeting discussion, initially we were thinking there may be a challenge to that decision. There has not been, and the property owners have been looking at alternatives to provide their own service through wells and septic tanks. And they approached us about a month ago and came to us to talk about some compromises that would get them annexed into the city sometime relatively soon and get them service for their development right away. Some of you have heard more details on this than others. There were two main concepts that were talked about. One was a guaranteed annexation after a certain number of years, and the other was an immediate annexation, but a system where some of their taxes might be rebated if the tax was a lot higher than expected. Since then, the attorney for the owner and myself, we concluded we can't do the rebate approach. There are just too many legal issues with that. And the Sunstock folks have worked on kind of a hybrid solution that would be components of both that would be workable, and they may want to speak to that today, but we've been working on those terms. But anyways, they asked to have time on the agenda today to provide an update and speak because they've got some tight deadlines on the construction schedule and wanted to keep this discussion open and not leave it sitting. So with that, turn it over to some stuff folks.
Thank you, Nick. I'm Mike Harrell from Bainbridge, Georgia. I'm the owner of Southwest Georgia Oil Company. It's actually a company that was started by my dad in 1959. My wife and I spent the night here last night at our house. We're finally in after 3 years. I know a lot of folks are probably going through the process of getting reacclimated to their homes after that storm, but we're glad to be here, glad to be back. And Mexico Beach, just to give you a little history, personal history, maybe kind of tied in with the company before we get to the specific store. Mexico Beach has been my second home since my 4th birthday party. I had it at the Holiday Motel down there on the canal. So for 55 years, we've been coming to Mexico Beach. My parents got a house in the mid-70s, and this is, in fact, literally our second home. So we're not from Atlanta or some big city in Georgia that just sort of dropped in here out of the blue. We've been here for a lot of years, and very thankful for that history. As I mentioned, my dad started the company in '59. He actually named, I was thinking about it while I was sitting there a second ago, he and a buddy of his, Win Calais, who worked for Marathon on the Chattahoochee Bridge when they were coming to Mexico Beach, came up with the trade name Inland on that bridge as they were coming to Mexico Beach, bringing all of us. Win had 4 kids, and there was 3 in our family coming over to Mexico Beach. So it's kind of a neat little bit of history that I was reminded of, made me smile. To give you a little more specific to this site, we really have not done much business in this area. We had a store over in Callaway years ago on the right-hand side in a little triangle, just as you go over the bridge from Kendall, and we closed that years ago. My oldest daughter was a baby, so it had to be it was 22, 3 years ago. But we really have not done any business in the area until after the storm, when we fired up really what we thought was sort of a dead asset. It was an old Sunshine Junior store over towards St. Joe. Actually, its last trade name had been Cheap Butts. I don't know if y'all remember that, when it was Mr. Cheap Butts. But for years, I think the guy had been selling palm trees on it just if he paid the water bill. And we after the storm, we did fire that store up, it did great. It did better than I ever thought it would, but it spoke to the need of those services in this area after the storm. And with the success of that store, we really just wanted to grow our footprint. We've kind of made it a corporate mandate to try to create what we would call a coastal zone. And so Mexico Beach was really a very, very logical place to go from here. We've got a site in Panama City Beach, a site on 331, heading down to 98 to Destin. So we're trying to actually create a zone here. So very intentional growth plan to put this store here. We came by the site really by accident. A lender with Centennial Bank, Jim Haynes over in St. Joe, told us about Brent's development, and just kind of over time, Brent kind of made the decision to go from needing to have a ground lease to actually selling the property to us, because we don't lease property. We always make a point to own the real estate that we develop. And really, that's sort of what got the process going for us landing here, picking that site, and ultimately, I guess in June, we started construction of the site with the full intention. I've got some folks have maybe seen these pictures. We've only got 2 of these stores, one a Raise and Rebuild and one a New to Market in Thomasville. But we haven't had maybe Nick, if you don't mind passing that around. One of the stores is in Tallahassee, the Raise and Rebuild. The other one's in Thomasville, Georgia. And we really haven't gone through a process of doing ground-up stores in a lot of years, and I share that with you because the last time right after I bought my brother out in 1999, we were in the throes of kind of some ground up stores, and I almost went broke. I overextended, and that memory creeps in as I start these new prototypical stores with our new imaging, and that's where the sensitivity around property taxes or making business decisions about how to mitigate your risk going into these things. These two stores that I'm showing pictures of are actually the market has responded really, really well to them. They're actually exceptional stores. I'm really proud of them. They're nobody around here has seen anything like this store. That makes me proud. But by the same, it also makes me cautious because I'm sure everybody after the storm with the new construction, I've heard you guys speak of it already during your meetings. Things are expensive, and that is the same in our industry. And so I'm just maybe it's just that learning curve I went through years ago, but very cautious about how quickly to expand and how to open these stores. It usually takes about a year for one of our typical stores to kind of turn a profit. I've had them do it a little quicker than that. I've had them never turn a profit. So, it's just, usually you have to give, especially a ground up store, a year, 18 months to get traction and get into the black. And that's sort of, I think, the approach we've tried to take with the annexation into the city from a top property tax standpoint is just trying to mitigate and have some sort of visibility on that cost going forward as we get traction, with the full intention of joining Mexico Beach. I don't see why you would not annex into Mexico Beach with a store that is contributing and has kind of reached maturity and doesn't have that sort of risk associated with it. So it's really never been about that. It's really been more of just sort of a business approach to handle the risk associated with doing these kind of businesses, this kind of store, with the base of experience that I have in the past. But the timing, we started in June. We actually suspended construction in July when we realized that we would not be able to tap into the sewer and water pipe, which I believe touches our property, or I guess it's on that side of the road. And it was run past us to service development that Brent had done in the past. So I guess it caught me a little off guard to have to worry. We didn't anticipate that we would not be able to tap into that. And so I suspended the construction mainly just to make sure we had we could open that store up when it was ready, which is, I know you guys have probably seen more of us than you care to on your agenda in the past, but we have pursued getting a septic tank permit with the Bay County and a well water, which we're in the process of getting. They're going to grant those in November. The problem with that is in November, this store or this market it has a real it's very seasonal. That's what we're learning as we operate down here. And the peak time, as we all know, is really kind of spring break through Labor Day. And then you really do need to have a pretty strong community base, or certainly capture a lot of that base with the traffic, or you can struggle down here. And if we got the permitting in November, then we really would probably not fire construction up until, say, July of next year for a 2023 opening to catch that March front end of that window again. So timing is really of the essence. I know that can be a storyline and not genuine, but that's a very genuine concern now to try to. If we fired the construction up, our contractors told us it would take about 30 days to kind of rally up the contractors that they had on the site. They're actually in Marianna, Florida right now working on the store to get them back on site and get them going for maybe an opening around Memorial Day. That would probably be the goal if they could get started right away. So time is kind of the essence, or else we probably would have to delay restarting construction until we caught the next prime window, which would be in March of 2023. So I'm happy. Any clarifying questions around the company, around my history with the company, my history here, anything that I can shed light on, I'm very happy to do it with anyone. Well, as Nick alluded to, he and Tim and Doug have been in some discussions, and maybe Tim, would it be kind of appropriate for?
Yeah, we can go. Hi, I'm Tim Perry. I'm an attorney with the Gardner Betts firm in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm the outside counsel for Southwest Georgia Oil. And, we've really tried, to be pretty kind of proactive and have a productive resolution to try and get the store built. And so we came to the city and we discussed some concepts for a way to get the store built. I sent your city attorney a draft agreement, and the core of that agreement is to have an annexation at some point in the future. And in the interim period, the store would provide a donation to the city prior to annexation, and then at that future time period, which we're in the process of negotiating, we suggested 5 years from the date of certificate of occupancy. We would give $7,000 a year with a 5% escalator for each of the annual donations until we got to the point where in the future we would annex into the city. And that's kind of the core of the concept of the agreement. I sent city attorney a draft of that agreement, and we're hoping that we can move forward with the negotiations with y'all and perhaps bring that to the city council for approval by the next city council meeting, if not sooner. Do y'all have any questions about that?
We haven't seen that.
We haven't seen anything, so we don't know, we know what you're saying.
That's why I'm actually here looking for some direction from the council on what you would like to see, whether it's immediate annexation, if you'd like to negotiate for shorter terms to be annexed. Do we want to set precedents for new businesses that are going to come possibly be annexed? I mean, there's just many, many questions that go along with this, and the overall effect to the family that is Mexico Beach.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
And I think the direction that we're looking for is, we want to know that we can move forward with negotiations with the city, so that we can make this happen, so that, we could get the store going, and we could know that in the future we would become, part of the city, and also provide some certainty to the city and for us in the interim as well.
So, based on the last conversations that we had, you guys were talking about 7 years. Now you're thinking 5 years. Make sure that I'm not thinking wrong about this, but this is essentially a tax-driven start or not start based on what you're estimating the taxes are, right?
It's based on what the city has told us that the estimate for the taxes would be. That's correct.
Okay, and so at that point, when you figured that stuff up, we were at 8 mils probably, right? When you figured that originally, we've already dropped it to 7. We hear that we may be able to drop that again in the next year, according to our accountant. But essentially what I'm trying to get out is, it's a tax basis, so if we agree to a shorter period or an annexation down the road, and if you would, for me, it kind of explained this donation thing you're talking about, so I'll at least understand what that's about.
So that would be an amount that prior to the annexation we would provide to the city after we receive the certificate of occupancy. It's basically like, it's in lieu of taxes during the time period where the annexation is delayed.
It's annual, so it's like a replacement for what the taxes might be, sort of a low estimate of what the taxes would be likely to be. So they provide some of the same kind of financial benefit to the city as if there had been a full annexation. But the actual annexation for the real taxes wouldn't be until some amount of years later.
As I understand it, the valuation was $1 million for their property, sir. You know, the taxes would be on 7 mills, would be $7,000 annually. So they're negotiating an annual basis with an increase of 5% per year until they're actually annexed. So the taxes wouldn't take effect until they get their CO anyway. So if they're talking May of 2023, their taxes wouldn't hit for the full value of the property until January 2024. Is that right? So is that what
if we waited or had to delay the construction, correct?
So I'm trying to get some direction. So, you know, in the conversations, they said 5 years, 7,000. I said, well, what if it was 2 years at 8,500, right? To get a little more skin in the game, just in case they build a bigger place and we lose out on tax money. Who pays that if it's over? Is that something they have to come back to the table? If they build a $2 million place instead of $1 million and their value is $14,000 instead of $7,000 of what they've been giving us? We're trying to find somewhere in the middle and a time frame that's ample to both sides, and maybe that's 3 years, or maybe it's immediate, or that's the direction I'm looking for from the council to move forward.
Just more background on where these dollar figures are coming from, because it's not something that made up out of the blue. Several months ago, when Mario was still city administrator, he and I looked at other high-end new gas stations in Bay County and what their appraised values just on average look like. And we had floated around, well, it looks like if this project is constructed and annexed into the city, the annual tax revenue in the initial year or two would probably be $7,000 or $8,000 a year. And the Sunstop folks, they have concerns that it might be a lot more than that, and they know what they're going to spend. We're looking at what similar properties have been appraised for by the property appraisers of Bay County. So there's some risk on their end that they could have a very high appraisal, but looking at what's typical of the Bay County property appraiser, that probably won't happen. But that's where that 7,000 number comes from. It's coming from staff previously at the city saying, well, it's probably going to be about $7,000 or $8,000 in tax revenue for the city on the first year. Yeah, Daryl, you mentioned 7 years. That was a time frame that we talked about last month, and that was, I don't believe, going to have this donation aspect included. It was just very straightforward. We will annex in 7 years. So this is where this new concept is sort of a hybrid. There's a financial donation at the beginning of the project, as well as a guarantee and annexation later. So some of the details we're working on are just how do we accomplish that annexation and ensure that it definitely happens later, and then just these business terms. But where I think Doug's coming from is if you don't like this idea at all, period, then there isn't really a reason to continue to negotiate with it. We've been working on some of the details behind the scenes, but it seemed like it was time to have more of a conversation with you about your general thoughts of whether we should keep pursuing this or not.
So if they were to go ahead and annex now, we would, based on what our staff previously had guessed, was $7,000 to $8,000 a year.
No. Yes, but actually their project wouldn't be built this year. So the next tax bill will be based on January 1st, which will be based on vacant land.
Okay.
That's why I was trying to get shorter year term, because they're already getting the first couple of years where they don't have to do anything. They've been on their CO schedule.
Right.
Finish.
Yeah.
Okay. My concern is citizens of Mexico Beach. You're going to get, because of Mexico Beach, at least 75% of your business is going to be people coming, going, living here. We're about to do project over here on the other side of the canal. Gonna be civilians working at the base. You getting all this business. And you saying, let me have this money for 7 years and then I'll get taxed on. Well, these people are gonna lose money in this town because of you. Because you're gonna take their business away from them. Now you're gonna be getting a lot of business, boat business, everything. I mean, your building looks great. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. I think it's something we really need. But at the same time, I think the citizens need your support. And not donation, but tax. I would be behind you 150% if you annex something. You have no problem with me at all. But I'm still concerned about our citizens on what they have to pay, what you have to pay whenever you're housing here.
I pay it, yes, sir.
Believe me, I do too, and everybody else does too. Everybody else does too. And I feel only that you support us like we will support you. And I guarantee you would get all the support from everybody here, and that's into this city.
And I think that's the goal, is that this gives us a path to do that, to make that happen.
Well, it's easy pass. Just do it. That's easy.
My concern is this gonna be the only time we have to go through this? What about another business comes along and they wanna let's make a deal? I think it's just gonna open a can of worms.
There is some potential for that, but keep in mind on the east side of the city, those properties are in Gulf County, so there's no annexation possible there. And on the west side of the city, there are only a few more parcels. They're large parcels, but there are only a few more before you hit Tyndall Air Force Base. So while that is certainly a possibility, we aren't talking about a lot of owners left, and we already know that remaining property, their goal is to not annex into the city. The purpose for talking through these compromise concepts, the main purpose, in my mind, is just to avoid any challenges. We'd rather stay out of court and get some revenue instead of no revenue. But secondarily, having this business not run on wells and septic tanks would probably be better for the citizens of the city. I think it'll be a better store to visit, better products to eat and drink, and better for the environment. That's all.
Subject tank that close to the water, I mean, really dumping it every day. That many people coming through there.
Mike, we've talked several times. If you're gonna make a donation, I mean, it seems like we're avoiding what we as council members represent all the citizens of this town, and I think, I guess I don't understand if I'm looking here at the Busy Bee in Panama City Beach. Their assessed value is $3 million, and they've got a 31,000 square foot area, 16,000 heated and cool space on Back Beach Road in Panama City. If you're looking at $1 million investment, I just, you said it, I didn't, but we're tired of seeing it here. You mentioned that in your speech. I mean, the more we beat this horse to death, the worse it gets for me.
Well, I pick up and this just may be me reading what I hear from some of y'all. I understand that the sewer water pipe that runs, it touches our property, and it goes to a development further to the west. I kind of get the sense, I don't think this council had anything to do with that, or that happened in the past, but I kind of feel like in a sense that's getting held against me a little bit. because, I mean, I've been at this for 37 years. We operate in 3 different states and 40 or 50 different towns, and I've never run across a situation to where, when there was an opportunity to do business with us, with water and sewer right there, I guess there's a premium I guess we would pay if we're not in the city, that the municipality wouldn't embrace the opportunity to do business. That's the part that really kind of confounds me a bit. We're kind of ready, willing, and able to put in what will be our best foot forward with what we do. Tap into the city of water, pay a premium for it, be a good customer, be a good corporate citizen with the full intention of annexing when the store gets traction and becomes profitable. That doesn't strike me as an unreasonable approach for me to take. I think anybody in this room that were in the same shoes would probably think that way. So I guess that's if this is about the other development or if I'm kind of caught between things that happened in the past and kind of the feelings of the present, that doesn't strike me as very fair. I've been consistent for 55 years when it comes to Mexico Beach, Florida. Nobody has been more consistent than it's just. I feel like I'm a good citizen. I feel like I do my part. I feel like I've done my part for generations. My parents who are gone, and my kids who own the house that me and their mom just stayed in last night. So I guess it just. I feel your frustration, and I guess I just want you to know that I'm not trying to be some one-sided, my way or the highway kind of guy. I really do fully intend to make y'all proud, to have you very pleased with what I do, very happy to be in there, very happy to recommend your family, friends, and the folks that come through the community that just rent down here to go down there and do business with us, knowing that we're going to make you look good and make you proud. So I just, I guess we're all just sort of speaking from the heart, and that's just kind of how I feel right now. But
yeah, and I think our ask is to, get some direction to continue negotiations and try to bring something. And if that's not the direction, then I think we.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all a question. If you're willing to pay a donation, a term of $7,000. What's the difference in a donation and paying your taxes?
Well, it's the, I guess, kind of the certainty of it. I don't know if you remember when Glennie and I met, and we were all kind of. I think a lot of the unknown is just what is the tax going to be, and I hear you on the busy bee, and Nick's right. I mean, all he can go by is what's in the records. I mean, that's what you do when you're an appraiser. The problem is appraisers change. Councils change, and the risk is, and I've seen it, taxes can change in a big way. And early in the game with this store, this store, and it's a little embarrassing, but we just haven't quite value engineered the thing yet. This store's going to cost $5 million to build. Now it's got a huge capacity, and it'll last way longer than I'll last. It's built that way. But it'll be financed. It'll be financed with Centennial Bank over in St. Joe. So a local banker, and as many local vendors, and I mean it's going to be part of this community. And the wrong tax assessor that dials into our industry. Says all of a sudden, well, that's a $4 or $5 million appraised site. Well, then all of a sudden the taxes really can get tough on you, especially if it's early in the life of this thing. I'm not saying in 10 years that would, heap the taxes on me, I can pay them. I feel like I pay too many taxes already. Probably most of us do. But it would be able to bear it in 5 or 10 years when it's a mature store. It's got a good customer base, and people year in and year out, know about it that come through Mexico Beach or go up and down Highway 98. Hopefully, it's part of that bypass. We actually purposely put it as part of the future bypass, where even we can catch traffic that does not come directly through Mexico Beach. It's built. It's going to be built to stand the test of time and do a good job for a long time. But the early years are really, really tough, risky years from an operation standpoint. And I mean, just look. I don't know how many folks in here are in the labor market, but it's a very difficult labor market right now, and there's just a lot of unknowns. So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
Well, I'll speak for me, but the tax appraiser's documentation is real. It's not something that somebody's going to change tomorrow or the next year. There's not going to be this drastic increase in, they have regulations, they have things, and if the $7,000 is close to the tax now, and let's even go if it were $10,000, okay? If that's a deal breaker,
then you don't need to do the store.
And so, and just to finish my thought, we talked about the water line. If the people that are outside our service area pay 25% more on their water and sewer bill, that money goes to dedicated funds. They're called enterprise funds. They're not general fund expenses. They're not allowed to be used as general fund expenses. Mexico Beach survives on ad valorem tax. That's 80, this year's 83% of our budget comes from ad valorem tax. So that extra money that we receive from outside service area services does not go to the general fund. It doesn't support the fire department, it doesn't support the police department, it doesn't support the road department. It supports nothing but the enterprise funds, which is water, sewer, and sanitation. So
I've heard that said before, but I know that other local governments do transfer from their enterprise funds to their general fund.
There are.
Like City of Tallahassee does it. City of Tampa does it.
Then I think everything that I have read everything that I know from every accountant that has come here, there are ways to transfer funds from when you get what do you call them when you sign up, not user fees, but impact fees. But I don't know of any municipality that mixes general fund and enterprise fund money. There may be some special exception, but they do not operate their city off of enterprise funds. I'm not aware of any. So I respectfully disagree that Mexico Beach has never done that. We get the same auditors that every municipality gets, and they have strongly watched that. So I don't want to say there's not some exception, but I know that general fund money operates. The same fire people will show up at your place, same police people will show up at your place, same road people and anyone else. It's general services in this city. So my point being, more to answer your question, Mike, about the water line, yes, you do pay more, but it does support the general services of the city.
But the city does benefit in some form or fashion.
Well, we get 25% more in water and sewer.
For a second, I thought maybe it went to Panama City.
No, we get that benefit. But that's a long cry from ad valorem tax that it takes to run the city.
Well, and I think the donation was try to mimic what we in that meeting when we were all trying to figure out what they might be. I don't know if you remember, but Glenn just said, well, annex us now. And that's what I would say. Annex us now if it's $7,000 or $8,000. That's why we're trying to
all we can show is the documentation from the tax I mean, that has to have credibility. That's what people throughout Bay County pay based on the valuations. It's not some pie in the sky number that you pull down.
Right.
So they're real numbers. And that's some of my, and it's just difficult to ignore that type of documentation. So for me, I'm not for negotiating. I don't want to tell the El Governor Motel or Shell Shack or other businesses that are coming back or come here and say, hey, I wish I'd come talk to you. I'm just not going to do that. I just can't do that.
Let me ask a question of the council that might help wrap this up. Again, the general idea behind the current version of this compromise we're working on is cash donations on the initial years and then a guaranteed annexation some years later. They've suggested 5. These are terms I don't necessarily think they'll agree to, but even if we got this down to say annexation after 2 years, is that something that the council, since the reluctance in continuing negotiation, but even at that number of years, is that something you're not interested in doing? That would be a payment, a donation in those initial years with a annexation 2 years after they open. So you're looking at probably 2024.
What we talked about in the meeting that earlier was that we would cap it. They want some certainty of how much it would,
well, let me address
that
that.
they can put into their financial plan that doesn't sink the ship. I mean, that's basically what I'm hearing, right? You need some certainties of that.
And I mentioned that in those 2 briefs earlier. So one of the ideas we talked about at the end of August was annex in now. The regular tax process would occur where they'd be assessed and pay their taxes. But if the amount of taxes greatly exceeded what we thought it would be, the city would then rebate some of that money to the owners. Made sense, seemed logical. You got the annexation right away, and it limited their risk on some astronomical assessment of tax that could happen. So we like that idea. I think that they were okay with that idea. Unfortunately, some other cities have done things similar to that in the past, and the courts have validated it. It's just the idea of rebating taxes is too likely to not be valid. So that option, even though it makes good business sense, we can't recommend.
Okay, so the rebate, I mean, the
rebate
rebating
option
part of
is-
that is not an option.
Right. So that's how we.
Well, the only options are then what?
That's how we ended up with this other set of terms, which would be annexation after a set number of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is agreed to, with prior to that an annual donation. That's how we ended up on this, because there's nothing wrong with the donation of the city. That's not anything we have to worry about being invalid. It's just the idea of a partial refund of taxes. That's what the courts concluded you can't do that.
Well, it's hard for me to make any kind of decision until I actually have figures to look at. I don't have any figures to look at. I don't know what that means to them or what it means to us in a dollar amount. So, I mean, I don't know how you can consider an option unless you know what that option is going to cost you in dollars. For me.
And we can share the draft that we're working on with the agreement. We've been trying to get to the point where we have more of a recommendation before we circulate it.
That was what I needed, and I heard it at the table that no negotiation. I heard it that maybe that we want to see the numbers. So that's really why I'm here today, and they're here today for you to say, absolutely, they sign up now as annex or not, or Doug, bring back the best offer you can, and we'll negotiate. We'll just consider it at a future council meeting, whenever that is, which would have numbers associated with it.
I'm fine with that. Bring back the best number you can, we'll look at it. I don't know anything else.
I don't know how you, I mean, just to be considerate and to do diligence with what we're doing.
I'm fine.
To look at the dollar amount, gives you an indication
what we're talking about, so we can say yay or nay. Is that?
That's what I need. If it's, I mean, is it okay with you guys? I could.
Is everybody okay with that? Just bring back whatever the best negotiate, and then we can look at it and say, okay.
Is that something we need to do in a council meeting, or can we get our hands on it prior to it so we can kind of look at it?
Well, it'll be, once it's a public document, yeah,
We'll put it, we'll agenda it as soon as we can.
Is that good with y'all? Just see if we can, see what we can come up with, and, I mean, I think the feeling has been, everybody's spoken from the heart. I think that's a great phrase, my last comment is, I'm for you. I'm for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
But there's limitations with what I'm willing to accept. But I'm for it.
Well, thanks for the time and
Absolutely.
patience. I know we're just like the bug that won't go away.
Oh, you're good. I know where you are.
I appreciate you making the trip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, what else you got?
Thank you guys for hearing that out. Thank you. Would you like a little, I don't have anything else on that item. Any projects I can go over before you even go to the city attorney reports? I can answer your questions.
No, if you don't have anything under until we're going to go to the project list. That's on there. Number 8.
So we're working closely on the 800 megahertz tower. The ladies meeting us this week to actually go over where the site is. We have working on with the city attorney to finalize the 25 acres for closing on that. We have a signed document from them, from the city, St. Joe Company, and for the 25 acres, which will be the municipal complex. They've agreed to that to donation for that, and we're going to do the closing. Working on closing for that. It's been surveyed, it's been appraised, and so it's ready to move forward. So that's coming to you soon. We're working on that project.
Well, those aren't on the list, so I'm a little confused. Sorry. And we can put them on the list. I'm just trying to.
That particular project, it's already all approved by the city council. It's just
Yeah,
a very good update.
yeah, okay.
We were hung up for several months waiting on paperwork, and we have that now, so everything is.
I thought you meant to go ahead with some of the things that I had. I apologize. For.
No, I'm just trying to follow what we're doing. That's all.
You're right.
That's all I'm doing.
Rookie move there, sorry.
All right, so we know the 60 acres of the 8. That, just to repeat on that, Joe, what did you say again on that? That's in we're moving forward, we're closing that?
On the 25 acres of the municipal complex, yes, sir. That's in the process of closing. The 80 acres, which is the stormwater project, is that what?
Yeah, the 80 acres, I'm sorry.
So I have a signed agreement for that as well from St. Joe Company. Nick has that for review. We're processing that, and we're going to purchase of that for $60,000.
Right.
That one is moving forward, and I met with Bridget last week, and she got us all the documentation we needed, and it's going to move just fine. The additional boat ramp parking, we're working on the millings that we had from grinding up of all the roads that are back there to move forward on that project. Canal dredging we talked about, the street paving we've talked about, the credit card machine. I'm pursuing quotes for those. We have one quote that they gave us a Cadillac price. I'm going to bring that back at probably the next meeting with what we're looking for: cash, no cash, just a credit card. So we're cleaning that up to bring back to you for.
Make you note if you want to talk to Mike McClure at Fort St. Joe.
Yes, sir.
Have you already talked to him?
Yes, sir. I'm in coordination with them because of the parks and stuff they have and how we.
Yeah, he's well informed of what they do and what issues they've had and everything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you've got that, then do it.
I'm moving forward with that. So it's the same exact machine basically that they have.
Okay.
The DOT right of way.
Tom covered that.
The debris piles, as you requested, the council requested to kind of pick some of those up. We've done that in addition to what we cleaned out when we cleaned out the canal over on the street. I'm sorry, sir.
So we can take that off?
Tommy, I believe we're done with that. I mean, unless there's little ones that pop up here and there, the debris piles.
Just take it off, man. If that's been, those that we identified have been done.
Highway 98 landscape, the RCI.
Yeah, so they are finishing up, making the swap from the oak trees to the palm meadows.
Okay.
So the next step would be for the DOT to come back out again and re-inspect it, and if they approve it, it moves into their 2-year maintenance phase.
Well, they need to, I was going to talk to you today. I sent you a message last night. I got a call. They had some major water leakage by the second dune in from Gulf County, walkover. And I drove by there this morning in the light, and there's, like I said, a lot of pictures to Garrett to work on so we can address that with them for some of their irrigation problems. So.
Yeah, well, that PVC pipe's been exposed to the sun for I don't know how many months now. It's probably going to start breaking.
We've had 2 breaks at night in the last week, so we're trying to get whatever we do to get ahead of it.
And it's temporary. I mean, they expect that to go away sometime, maybe starting next first season once the plants get started.
Us coming out to fix it, us coming out to fix it at night is.
I'm billing back to them.
We bill that back to them?
Yeah.
I'm going to, yes, sir. I mean, I had to pay, after-hour calls for our guys to go there and fix it. Garrett was there last night. If you want to report anything.
No, sir. They pretty much, that is, RCI take care of they take care of that irrigation line, so the city really doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, that's what I was told from the beginning, that it's totally up to RCI to maintain that irrigation.
We turned it off at the hydrant.
Yeah,
we just cut it off.
We just cut it, yes, sir. That's all.
Well, that's a 2-inch line,
yes,
running wide open.
So the washout stuff, we'll talk to them about fixing that at their cost, yes, sir. The Highway 98 Tommy adjusted that, the jetty. Dina, we had some progress up ahead on the jetty this week. Maybe you could speak to that real quick.
Yeah, so we just made some progress with FEMA. We had presented some mitigation, and they asked us to do a benefit cost analysis. And the results of that, we got news back from FEMA that we'll be over the threshold to allow us to move forward with mitigation, which would allow us to do the overall jetty improvements that we've been talking about even since before the storm, as far as adding additional rubble, making it stronger against future storms, but then also lengthening and strengthening specifically the east jetty.
And they were receptive to that. I think they uncovered something where it had some repairs in 2010, or I don't know the time frame, and they realized that it was much older than that, so that helped us with our process for them to approve fixing it stronger. So
amazing. You're amazing.
They are.
I don't know where you find that information.
I'm neither.
Actually, David helped with that.
So that's where she finds it.
We're a big happy team.
There you go.
So I get credit where credit's due. So the marina, the boat ramp and pavilions, I was by there this weekend. They poured the first slab there. Anything else you want to talk about? They had some back and forth yesterday, I believe, too. So
no, they're moving forward. We spoke the other day. Yeah.
I saw that they actually had some stuff happening. They're good.
Palms Park we discussed earlier. The pier, we had a big breakthrough yesterday for an additional $400-some thousand that they have agreed to forward to us. Maybe Dina can also explain that about the piles in the ground are better, the wing walls.
So they, as everyone knows, we've been negotiating the pier with FEMA. Everything seems to be moving forward the right way, and they issued their offer for mitigation for the pier as well. We haven't accepted it. We're still back checking, making sure that what they're offering is actually what we asked, but it looks good. So maybe by the next meeting, we'll have that finalized.
And it's moved forward to environmental fully, so that's a good thing.
When do we meet again with them?
With FEMA?
When do we call again with them? Tomorrow?
It was supposed to be last week, but they canceled it because they had some shutdown days, FEMA did. So
I think it'll be
it's the week after.
Okay, so it's next, not tomorrow.
Right.
The police fire municipal complex building, I talked about the 25 acres, that's where that is. That's moving forward. It'll help us a lot with the land. We're still waiting on a response from FEMA. They canceled our call, as I said last week, where we were going to point blank ask them the response of 150 pages that Brian and Dean and those guys sent in, what was happening. It's been 5-6 weeks, so we're going to get an answer there, their best number, hopefully. Stormwater, we discussed the 80 acres over there on the far side of town with the land. We're going to buy that outright at that price so that we have it. That's going to help us, Dina, with the project for the stormwater over there on that land that we're purchasing, to have that actually in hands instead of including that in the purchase in the proposal.
The grant, yeah.
The proposal for the grant. We have property for it. Street lights and street signs. Tommy talked about signs. Sunset Park we discussed, and Underwater debris removal, we have an update on that as well. We have been awarded, is that right? $5 million?
Not quite yet. So, and David, feel free to jump in. So we were awarded by NIFWF the first phase, which was the study to determine how much marine debris we had out in the Gulf. And NIFWF has since reviewed what Dewberry provided, and they want to go ahead and fund the actual work to remove it and implement that project. So we're working together to pull together, and it's not a full application, but we still have to submit, our budget and the proposed scope and the quantity for that next phase. But it looks like they've set aside those funds for us, and as soon as we're ready to start, they will fund actually removing debris from the Gulf.
We would have to bid all that out and so forth.
Yeah, there's
ways off.
DEP permit is gonna have to be obtained, and, I believe you said we might have 4 permit already in place.
Yeah, we have the core permit in place. The DEP, when we applied for this years ago, we were under the emergency final order for DEP that kind of went to exemption, but that's since expired, so.
All right, thank you.
So with help of staff and getting my hands around all of it, it seems like we're trying to move a lot of that forward, so thank you.
Nick, you have anything?
One item. I've been talking to Doug a few times about the details of our notice rules when people are applying for plats, rezonings, development orders. The issue came up today on the town village approvals. They're requesting a plat approval, preliminary plat approval, and a development order. And we realized there were errors in the notices, so okay, no problem. We'll reschedule, re-notice. And Doug said, well, how many days ahead do we need to notice this? And unfortunately, our rules, for the most part, they don't provide a certain number of days. And this has been an issue that I spotted probably 5 years ago. And we've never got it cleaned up. The last time that we looked at maybe adding some of these details was earlier this year in a different ordinance that eventually we adopted in a more simplified version that included those details. So I'd like to bring an ordinance to you for consideration soon that just plugs in exact numbers of days that say that notices need to go out before planning and zoning, and a different number for the city council meetings. And the purpose for this is, even if we think we are being completely fair and giving plenty of notice, if we don't have an exact rule that we say that we comply with and achieve, we always leave ourselves at risk of someone just complaining and saying, well, notice was inadequate. 3 weeks isn't enough. Somebody else does 30 days or 60 days. And you don't have a rule that said that you only need to do a certain number of days to be filed. So I'd like to bring that to you. It's not a lot of work to put together because I already drafted something to this kind of point not too long ago, and there's flexibility as far as numbers of days and the details, but if I can get something to you that we can start working on refining, I think we'll be able to get something adopted, which will help staff out a lot.
I'd appreciate that. It's very vague.
Okay, I think that's an obvious need.
Anything else for you? That's all. I have one thing for discussion.
Okay.
A couple of little things I might hit, but the biggest thing is I've had a request to have a boat move into the city marina to Liverboard, and I need some direction on that because the rules are silent to that effect. If I want to live in my boat in the city docks, it doesn't say yay or nay. It doesn't lean towards it or away from it either. So there's really some direction. I have a recommendation based on this one and the timing of it. This gentleman would like to move in this week sometime. The harbor master got a call from him. He's coming from somewhere, and I think we're in public. In my opinion, we're in the public business and serving the public and the residents of Mexico Beach mainly. If we have somebody start moving into that dock and start, the next thing you know, we've got 20 of them living in there. We don't have any space for our residents. How many ever it is, right? Then what do we do, right? Then we're hooked. I don't think we're in long-term rentals. We don't want to be a landlord either. There's commercial places that this person could go as well, as opposed to our city docks for a length amount of time. So I would just like a little bit of direction on how you guys feel for that. I can let this gentleman know that we're not in the business for that now, and we can't allow that. I mean, we do have where he could pump there, but that's also for our residents to come there to do that as well. So I want to bring that to your attention. I've had this request and haven't had a chance to go over it with you guys yet, so I wanted to get your feeling.
This topic came up briefly when you were setting fees a few months ago, and there didn't seem to be any strong objections. You're really thinking more in terms of should there be a higher fee if there's a liveaboard. But now that we have a real life example, Doug wanted you to think about it again and see if you had any different thoughts.
So Panama City, I reached out to the city of Panama City, not the beach, the city. I talked to the city manager last night. They are adamantly against it because maritime rules are far above what Met Council rules are. Where boarding, you can't board the vessel. You can't. There's a lot of things that we get. How do you kick them out? How do you evict them if they're not doing what they're supposed to do? I just think that we need more time, and maybe I can get a committee together or come back with a thought process to you guys to make a decision. But I'd like for you to put that in my hands and give me a little direction on how to move forward. So.
It's almost like having an RV, isn't
But you don't know what you're going to get, right? Yeah. So Panama City was getting, before the storm, these floating man caves out there, and they weren't going anywhere. And it was just, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. It's going to pull in as a nice, beautiful sailboat or something I might have. I don't know. So it's not.
Just let him.
Yeah, let him put
Put something together and sort of check around and see what others do. When I thought about it, I thought, well, one's not a big deal, but I didn't think about it 20.
Yeah, right. Well, the Keys have had that kind of problem for years because there's no place down there, and they just started docking their sailboats out in the middle of the.
And they're welcome to do that. This gentleman is welcome to do that, to dock it in state waters out there and then tender in however he wants to do that. But I don't think we're in the business of being a landlord of that dock. We need that to people to come in and out.
I tend to agree.
Just bring us something. How's that?
I will. And for the meantime, I'll let this gentleman know that it's not available this time.
Is that what we want to do?
Right.
Okay. Then we can research it and you tell us what.
I'll bring something back. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. I did want to bring up the 3-year anniversary of Hurricane Michael is on October 10th. We do have in our local. It's at the name of that restaurant is Kill Seafood. So they'll be hosting that there. I've talked with the fire department and working with the deputies. Maybe we'll have some representation there from the city of Mexico Beach. I'll be there. I did want to see what the council felt about that. I had reached out to Senator Boehner's office, and he said he's available if we wanted him to come down. I've got to call in a couple different places to the governor's office because it's a 3-year mark. He was here at the beginning, 18 months, why not 36 months. Would you like me to continue to pursue that, or is there something different you want me to do? Just looking for a direction.
Well, the guy that has been doing that, the boat, I can't think of his name, great guy. That puts that sponsors that in the food truck. Just all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank, but he has always done. The city has had very little involvement in that organization. He's handled it all, and for me, I'm fine with that.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's all I need to know. But we will have representation from police department there and anybody else.
Oh yeah, we all have always stopped by or show their appreciation just by saying, but the city itself has never been an organizational arm of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I did have one more thing with the dune walkovers. We talked about that earlier. The gentleman is coming from, is it North Florida?
North Florida Construction?
Yeah, it's working with the final. We owe $57,000. I toured that, a couple of those walkovers with Councilman McKee, and saw some of the work that's been done on those, and the shims that are falling out, and the rails that are loose still. And Tommy gave me some history on that as well as David. And I asked Nick to look into an option for me, and if that option is I have to hire another contractor to fix what they didn't do properly, can I back bill them out of the last $57,000 payment? So he's working on that, and I haven't heard back on that yet on how I would accomplish that goal. Ben, you got some ideas there?
Well, real quick, it's not North Florida.
I thought I was saying the wrong name. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right, Floridian.
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 My bad. I'm sorry about that. Mitt Fulmer, is that right? Mitt Fulmer. And I've talked to him several times. He reached out. I don't know if he was because I was new or what, but he had put in through the permit, close out the permit, and we can't do that because the arms on the walls aren't sturdy enough, and it's, I mean, there's spots with 2 inches of shims in them underneath some of the arm rails, and it just, he doesn't think it's a big deal. So I was looking at an option on how, if I had to fix it, somebody to fix it. A lot of it's cosmetic and some of it's structural, and I could backbill him, so I'm looking for that. Just want you guys to know that guy's, he may call you guys individually if he's not.
He has.
Okay. I'm working on that. So.
Okay.
That's all I got, sir. I thank you for your time.
You want to talk about 15th Street Bridge?
The guardrails and stuff? Yeah. That's on, we're gonna do that on the next item, next agenda, excuse me. Unless you guys have some questions about that.
Whatever you have, okay? Council comments? Chair, you got anything?
Why are the guardrails orange?
That's a barricade, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's a temporary barricade.
It's like, we don't need a gator bridge.
I think they ordered them and decided not to use them.
I thought it looked good.
Hey, come on now.
Kentucky's playing good. I put those on hold.
What else you got? Gary, you got anything?
No, man.
I'll do it. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. Good to see you, old lady.
Mr. Mayor.